Hi, I'm Alexander Maxim from YouTube. Today we'll continue our series about jQuery events. The second part, we will take the keyboard and forms events, the Keyup, Keydown, Keypress, change, focus, and blur events. Let's start with the Keyup events, but firstly I've created a table to organize our tutorial for each event case. Let's see how I created my table in HTML. So I have the hidden H2 jQuery events part 2, the keyboard, and forms events, or form because we have the change and the focus and blur. I have my table. In the head I have the three events the three keyboard events: Keypress, Keyup, Keydown, Keypress. I have also on the T body an input for each event. Let's firstly explain that. So I have three inputs. The idea is when I write something in my input for the Keyup, what I have written will be shown in a hidden. For the first input is the title, and for the second is the subject. For example, let's imagine to create or to send or to contact a site or an administrator in a site. So you create or you write the title and the subject, then you press the send to send your subject for the administrator. So when you write here, it will be shown in a hidden, and when you write the subject, it will be shown in a paragraph. This is the idea. This is the first table data for the Keyup and for the Keydown, for the Keypress, and here the hidden and the paragraph for each event. Then I have the change. The idea is I have three products: the shirt, pants, and boot. Here you enter the number that you want to buy and the type. For example, 2 shirts. It will give you the price of 2 shirts, for example, or 3 pounds, or like that. The change will be here in the select box because this is the example, the very usable in the change, and to understand more how it works. As the focus and blur, I will do an example for the focus and blur to understand more. Firstly, let's add some CSS properties to modify our table to be more beauty than this form. I will, for example, for the table, I will center all the elements, text line center, and I will add a margin for the top, for example, 50 pixels. For the table, TRTH, and for the table, TRTD, or at the padding, 10 pixels from the top and bottom, and 30 pixels from the left and right. Also for the text area, I will add to it a margin from the top, 10 pixels, for example, to not be attached with the input. And for the focus input, I will give to it a width, for example, 50 pixels. And let's see how our table great. So let's start with the Keyup. But firstly, what's the Keyup? The Keyup event is triggered when the user releases a key. It is only triggered once per key press. So if the user holds down a key, Keydown and Keypress events may be fired multiple times, but the Keyup event will only be triggered once after they have realized the key. This is the Keyup. So to do an example for the Keyup, let's add a command to start our event. For example, Keyup events. Then I will use my element here, the title up. So it's a class, so we need to add a point, and when we key up on this input, we will do a function. This function will take the value of this input, this value, and show it in a hidden as a title. This is the hidden of the title up. So I will modify the HTML of this hidden by this is returned to the title up, this dot val. So we will get the value of our input, and let's if we for example write utopian. So as you see here, when we press on a key on A, for example, or E or O, for example utopian IO, it will be shown. This is the Keyup. When you press a key, the function will works. I will do the same thing for the text up. I will copy and paste it to take the less time. I will just copy and paste the text up. Great. And here, for example, Keyup function, and here this is the subject. So when we press 1, it will be shown 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. This is the Keyup function. Let's see what's the Keydown function. This is a difference between there is a difference between the Keyup and Keydown events. The Keydown is triggered as soon as a user pressed a key down. This event doesn't require the user to finish the key press in order to be triggered. In fact, in many cases, the user holds down the key down event will be triggered continuously. This is the key down. Let's do an example to see how the key down works. Let's copy these commands and just key down, just to organize our tutorial and to understand that this for the key up and this for the key down. When I make my my works and the GitHub, so sorry, let's use the key down, and we will do a function. In this function, I will firstly write the elements, the head, or the value of the head here, HTML. I will take this dot val, the same thing, but after that I will add an alert. The key was pressed, for example. Let's copy and do the same thing for the text area. We'll copy the class here and the paragraph, the second table data, and we'll reload and see. This is when you press A. But if you press A, the key was pressed, but nothing will appear here. The value or the input now is empty for the key down. But if I press another key, the key was pressed again, and this is the first value of the key down. This is the key down event. It's not like the key up event. The key up event, if we type A, for example, it will be shown here. But here, no. If we click on, for example, delete, the key was pressed. Here we have just A, and in the results and the hidden we have 2A. This is the key down. We can use it in the search, for example, from the database. This is very helpful for the key for the search, for example. And the same thing here. The key was pressed. We have the A, 2A. We have the first A. This is the key down event. When we for example, when we type A many times, we can't. So let's firstly remove the alert. When we press, it will be like that. Great. This is the key down event. Let's see what's the key press event. The key press is very much like the key down event, except it isn't triggered for modifier keys like, for example, the shift, the E sharp, and for example the delete. Furthermore, the behavior of the key press event will vary across different browsers and platforms. However, in many cases, the key press event will behave like the key down event and will be fired as soon as the key is pressed. So let's do an example. I will just copy the same thing here and key press event. I will just copy the title press here, and the same thing for the title, for the hidden, for the text area also text press, because it's a subject, and my paragraph here text press, text A press, or text press. The key was pressed. Great. I will do the same thing. The key was pressed and we have A. 2A will show the first A. This is the same thing. The key press is the key down. But when, for example, I will write 2A here. When I click on delete, for this key is the key press here. I forgot to modify the method because the delete doesn't work with the key press. So I will type 2A, and here the same thing, 2A for the key down and key press. If we delete the A, as you see here, if I type another A, the alert will give us the message the key was pressed. But if we click on the delete button, the key press event will consider the delete as not a key. This is the difference between the key press and key down. But here in the key down, in this input, if I press the delete, the key was pressed. It's a key. The delete is also a key, and this is the result here. But if here we remove all the input, nothing will be changed here. But here, if I delete, it will be just 1A, and if I delete again, the result now is empty. This is the difference between the key press and key down. The keys shift, E sharp, for example, and delete doesn't work with the key press. Let's now learn the change and focus blur events. The change is in the forms events. What I mean by change? The change is when this value is changed, will do a function for that, or the function will be executed by that. So when we use, for example, sorry, the shirt, it will do something, and if we change to pont, it will do another or the same something, because it will execute the same function. So let's do that to understand more what's this change. So here the change event, I will take here the market class, and I will apply the change function for that, and I will take the value of this input, for example 0, no, I will check the value. I will define two variables. The first variable is, for example, the select value. I will add a var select value is this dot val, but here with the parse int method with the parse int method to convert the value of the market. Here we have three values. The value of the shirt is 200, and here 400 and 100 for the boot. I will change this value because it's string to an integer, to a number, by the parse int method, but it has two parameters. I will change it to a decimal number. I will add another variable, which is the input v, and here I will change the selector to the class of the input, which is the NBR, and I will check the value in the hexadecimal, and the result is the select v multiplied by the input v. This is the value of the result, and I will show it in a div with this class result. I will change the HTML of this div by the result, and for example USD. And let's see, when we change the number here, nothing will appear. And if we change, for example, shirts, 3 multiplied by 200, it will be 600 USD. If I change the pont, it will be 1200 USD. And if we change for the boot, it will be 300 USD. And if we change here the number, nothing will be changed in the price here. But if we change the pont, it will be 1600 USD. This is the change event. The change event here just applied for the select box. We need this event, and it's very important for the select box. Now the focus and blur events. The focus is when we focus on or in the input. When you click here in the input, the event focus will be applied, and when we leave from the input, the blur event will be applied. Let's do an example to understand more the uses of these events. So let's start with the focus input focus event. Sorry, great, like that. I will take this class of the input, and I will do the focus, and I will the focus event, and I will do a function for that. Inside the function, I will change the width of the input. I will select this CSS, and I will select the width property to, for example, 150 pixels. And I will see the results. If we focus in, but here it's very quickly. Let's change to animate. We will animate it in, for example, 600 milliseconds, I will change the width to 150 pixels, and I will reload and see like that. This is the event that I want to do for the input. We have this example in many sites. This is by default the width of the input. When you click, it will be, for example, the double of the width, or triple of the width, and you can now write your search. For example, I search for product number 1, for example, and click go to be free, to be visible, to write something for this input. But here the width is 50. It's not it's invisible to type something. You will for example type something incorrect and search for that. It's very helpful for this track. So in the blur, I will just copy and do the same for the blur, and I will change the method for the blur and the same inputs, because we have the focus and the blur, like the mouse leave and mouse enter events that I have so explained in the previous tutorial. I will return to 50 pixels. The input will return to 50 pixels, and when we focus, it will be like that, and when we blur, it will be like that. This is the focus and blur events. So we have learned the Keyup, Keydown, Keypress events, which are in the keyboard events, and the difference between them. And we have for the forms event, we have the change and focus and blur events. I hope that you have understood all what I did in this tutorial. Thank you for your watching, and have a great day.